condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on their necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on their necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got Unmute myself. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your second morning wake-up call. So let's get ready to get into it. Everyone, please hit that like button, like, share, and subscribe. It doesn't cost you a single thing, okay? And it shows your appreciation for my dedication to putting out these receipts. All right, so let's get into it. Now, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr_A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And as per usual, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay, hey, Dragon Lily, Claudette's in the house, Sandra, Anita, Jeff ATL, Nubian Cutie, Most Hated Bronze, Flat Power God, Jervis is in the house. All right, let's get into it, AM. Couch of Stealing is in here. Okay. Couch of Stealing says, I already voted for Agent Orange instead of Agent Scamala. Agent Scamala, beloved. Okay. All right. Well, shout out to you. Okay. Sandra is here. Christina. All right. Claudette. It can all be so simple. Said, I'm black, y'all. All right. JNT is here. Said, love you, Queen. And I love you, right, black beloveds. Okay. Leon Gardner is here. Nubian Cutie. Did I say you? Luna is here. All right, Queen Amoni Huey, Nessie X, Deneen, Cookie. All right, so let's get into it. Shout out to everyone. I see you, Dervis, Turkey, the Senate, Dale. Okay, so let's get into it. Lights up. Tangi is here. Okay, so let's get right into it, you guys. We have to talk about Kabami, but before we do, there's a very disturbing story that I saw a friend of mine did on TikTok about this black man by the name of Trumaine White, okay, who was arrested by the police, beaten viciously, okay, according to reports. And then his mother spoke to him while he was at the jail, and he supposedly said that he was going to be murdered and that he feared for his life. And guess what? Now he's deceased. So let's talk about that first. Okay, lights up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen.
United States of America. This is a call to action. United States of America. You guys are up. We are sick and tired, and enough is enough. October the 4th, this is Trumaine White. He's a father, a truck driver. He went to a local tire shop down in Liberty, Mississippi, where he got his tires changed, paid for them, and left a tip. From looking, this is the tire shop at the area that he was in, down there in Liberty, Mississippi on Main Street. Trumaine proceeded to go have lunch at a local diner. However, the tire shop owner, the place I just showed you, they called the police claiming that Trumaine had poured something white on the grass, which was later confirmed to be a white paper towel. But yet, they called the police, and they knew what was going to happen. Now, without cause, no questioning, no explanation, anything, the police approached Mr. White, and they violently arrested him at the Moose store. This is where they began beating on him and tasing him. Then they handcuffed and shackled him, then took him to the local jail. There are plenty of cameras out here, plenty. All right, so we need those cameras. We need to see the footage off of every single bit of that. Now, the good people over there at the Moose store ended up contacting Trumaine's mother. Yes, she went down to the jail, saw her son, and he looked horrible. He looked horrible, the way they put their hands on him, and he looked tired. And he told her, quote, "They're going to unalive me, mama." Now, his mother tried several times to find out what his charges were, and there were none. I even went and looked up to see what charges were on him. He's not even in the system. Later that night, Trumaine was unalived. He was unalived over at this sheriff's jail, Ahmadiyyah County. He has a lot of questions that need to be answered ASAP. Trumaine had no prior arrest. He's never been in trouble. He was a provider for his daughter. And we demand that the DOJ and the FBI step in. They need to step in and arrest the sheriff and the deputies who unalived Mr. Trumaine. And they also need to arrest that tire store owner who made that fake police call. They need to arrest that person. Like I said, I'm not for sure if that was the Freeman's Tire and Accessory Shop, because that's the only one that I saw on Main Street. And the really sad thing about it is you can't even find this story on no news station. You can't find any newspaper articles or anything down there in Liberty, Mississippi. Sheriff Tim Roughton, we get ready to make a lot of noise, a whole lot of noise. I want everybody to share this, boost this. We're going to cry aloud until we see justice done. Justice includes holding them accountable, arrest made, and being convicted.
Okay, that is an absolute darn shame. And my condolences to the family and specifically his mother and his children. This is all so crazy. Now, the man went there, paid for his services, and even left them a tip. Okay, and this is what the devils do. I want you to pay attention. Okay, one vibe said, "Where's Benjamin Crump?" Well, beloved, he may not have heard about it as of yet because there's no news outlets covering this story. You see, they try to sweep these things under the rug, and thank God for TikTok, where people can get these stories out. Because, many of the stories like this that I have reported on the backup channel, I actually got these stories from TikTok, like Tariq's Atwood, the young man who was chased and hunted, just like they did Rasheem Carter. But luckily for him, he escaped alive. Rasheem Carter did not. That story has yet to be covered on the mainstream media. And so you have to ask yourselves, why do Biden and Kabami so desperately want to get rid of TikTok? Okay? And censor people and all of that. Okay, please pay attention. Speaking of Kabami, let's talk about it because some of these immigrants is out here chopping off heads. Okay, this is not even a joke. There's people, listen, here's the thing. So I was talking to my mother the other day, and she informed me that there were decapitations going on by way of these migrants, said that there was increased cases of people's heads being chopped off. And I'm like, what? So I did a little research, and here's what I came upon. Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Kabami, I blame you and the Biden administration collectively. Horrific crime scene involving dismembered body found at Adams County home. According to affidavit, Jose Valdez Canas, 25 years old, is charged with murder, tampering with a deceased human body, and abuse of a corpse. So Adams County Sheriff's deputies who responded to a welfare check at a home in the Twin Lakes community in the early hours of January the 5th found rooms covered in blood, a decapitated and dismembered body under a blanket, and the victim's head smoldering on a stove in the kitchen. Please pay attention. This is all so gruesome. Okay. This is all according to the arrest affidavit. Now, the affidavit for Jose Valdez Canas, age 25, details a horrific stabbing and dismemberment seemingly motivated by delusions and paranoia. Now, I want you all to pay attention because I recently reported, well, not recently, but last year sometime, I reported on the backup channel about one of these migrants who chopped off the head and cut up the body of an elderly Black man. Okay. This is all nefarious, but let's continue. Now, Valdez Canas is charged with first-degree murder, tampering with a deceased human body, and abuse of a corpse in the stabbing death of a 31-year-old man at the home in the 6900 block of Ruth Way. Valdez Canas was on supervised release from being arrested on suspicion of attempted murder, as well as assault and kidnapping in Denver in September. According to the affidavit and court records, he was free on a $10,000 cash bail. Okay, please pay attention. All right, and this happened in Colorado. Now, the man killed on January the 5th has not yet been identified publicly by the Adams and Broomfield County Coroner's Office. Before the incident, the victim had told people he was having trouble with a roommate who had just gotten out of jail and was fighting with him and trying to steal the victim's personal belongings. This is all according to the affidavit. Now, deputies responded to the home for a welfare check at approximately 4:30 a.m. after a witness living in the home called 911 about someone upstairs making a whole lot of noise. Valdez Canas answered the door and had blood on his face. Okay, hands and other parts of his body as well had blood on them. Now, when he saw deputies, he walked toward them with his hands up and lay face down on the concrete. Doesn't sound crazy to me. Sounds like he knew exactly what he was doing. Now, after clearing the home, deputies discovered the victim's body and dismembered body parts. They also found a machete and a gun in the living room, as well as knives and ammunition in Valdez Canas' pockets. Valdez Canas was taken to the hospital to treat a laceration on his hand. Now, while at the hospital, he told deputies that he killed the man before the man could kill him, and accused the man of doing satanic things and witchcraft, as well as threatening Valdez Canas' family. Now, Valdez Canas told deputies that he was given the touch of God, okay, that he had a mission and that God didn't want the victim to live anymore. Okay, please pay attention. Now, deputies described him stabbing, he also described stabbing the victim and cutting off his head. Deputies asked Valdez Canas if the victim ever physically harmed him or threatened to harm him, and he said that he did not. Valdez Canas is in custody on a $5 million cash bail. He's set to appear in court on June 20th. Now, that was one story from February of 2024. Now, this is also nefarious. Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Now, with that all being said, I find this all egregious, but hold on. There was plenty of other beheadings. Now, here's another one. Colorado Springs man accused in horrific beheading case appears in court for the first time in months. Now, I want you all to pay attention because these stories are happening in Colorado, where there's a whole lot of those Venezuelan immigrants. Now, I'm not saying they're doing it, but they do have names like the Venezuelan immigrants. At least that one did. Now, in this nefarious story, which was reported August the 14th of 2024, Osimike Uwadabi made his first court appearance Wednesday after months of reportedly dragging his feet and refusing transport. Now, the judge presiding over his case had said ahead of Wednesday's hearing that she was putting in a transport order to bring him in through any means necessary. Once all parties settled into the courtroom for the status conference, they say the judge announced that Uwadabi was currently deemed incompetent to stand trial, but that methods were underway, mainly medication to restore his competency, they say. Now, between his July and August hearings, Uwadabi had been in the custody of the state hospital in Pueblo. Okay, the judge said that while at the hospital, he had been taking his meds, but had stopped after returning to the El Paso County Jail. The judge said that if Uwadabi continued to refuse his medication, she could be compelled to consider forcibly medicating him. For months, Osimike Uwadabi has refused transport to his scheduled court appearances. Okay, in June, the judge presiding over his case said she planned on putting a transport order in by any means necessary, which hit another snag in July when Uwadabi missed court yet again, this time for a reported illness. Now, the judge told the courtroom that the July 10th appearance that she had confirmed Uwadabi was indeed legitimately sick, but that the transport order would be in effect for his status hearing in August. Now, meaning that Wednesday, after months of avoiding the courtroom, Uwadabi should finally be present for the hearing. Now, in spring of 2022, Uwadabi allegedly went on a crime spree that left one person dead, an officer injured, and several wrecked cars in its wake. It started just south of downtown Colorado Springs when he threatened a driver at knife point who refused to give him a ride. When the driver got away, the suspect allegedly climbed into a nearby apartment through a window. While one of the residents ran to get help from a neighbor, according to the arrest papers, Uwadabi attacked a man in the apartment, slashing him in the stomach and sawing off his head. Now, the original driver called 911 and Springs police were waiting outside the apartment when the suspect emerged. He allegedly assaulted one of the officers, stole their cruiser, and sped onto the interstate. Now, where police say that he collided with several oncoming cars. The repeated collisions disabled the vehicle, and police were then able to arrest him. Now, Wednesday's hearing is a status conference, okay, during which the court will discuss Uwadabi's competency. In July, after reviewing his most recent competency exam, the judge ruled that Uwadabi would be transported to the state hospital in Pueblo. This is all so crazy. I just want you all to pay attention. Now, didn't Trump say that some of these people are crazy, have mental health issues, basically? Let's go to this brief clip.
Well, 5:36 now, and later on this morning, the suspect in that grisly rampage more than 2 years ago is scheduled to finally appear in court. That is set for 8:30 this morning. Osimike Uwadabi, who for months refused transport to his scheduled court appearance, will likely be in that courtroom in front of the judge. His last court date was back in July, and he was, quote, verifiably ill, according to the judge. Uwadabi allegedly went on that crime spree that left one person dead, an officer hurt, and several wrecked cars. That was all back in the spring of 2022. Arrest papers our newsroom has reviewed shows the suspect attacked a man in an apartment, slashing him in the stomach and sawing his head off. We'll be listening into that court appearance and bring you those updates in our later newscasts.
Okay, this is all nefarious. Absolutely egregious. Now, here's the last one we're going to go over before we get into Kabami. Suspect in murder of woman in Colorado, please pay attention, okay, had severed hand in his pocket, according to police. So a security guard in Colorado charged with first-degree murder was arrested with a severed hand in his pocket just one day after a headless body was found in a nearby creek. I'm sorry, chopping off heads? So Solomon Martinez, age 26, was arrested at work last week when police found the hand inside a plastic bag in the chest pocket of his jacket, according to an affidavit. Now, Mr. Martinez was charged in Pueblo, Colorado, in connection with a woman found dead by police on January the 10th at Fountain Creek with her head decapitated. Now, the suspect told investigators that he had hired the woman as a prostitute, but claims that he did not murder or dismember anyone, but you have a hand in your pocket. The woman has yet to be publicly identified. Now, before disposing of the victim's remains, Mr. Martinez, according to arrest records, also asked for the help of his roommate, Joshua Marzurko. Okay, he says he had walked up to me and he had asked me, you want to absolve $1,000 off your debt? I need a 10-foot hole. And he looks at me, goes, I'm not playing around. Okay, this is what Mr. Marzurko said. Now, the roommate said he refused to help, but watched Mr. Martinez, who had visible dirt on his clothing, wash blood off of his hands at a local car wash. When investigators asked why he was washing his hands with a pressure washer, he told them he was a germaphobe. I was terrified. I was beyond terrified, says Mr. Marzurko. Okay, this is what he said, adding that Mr. Martinez had previously been alone with members of his family. Like, I can't even put into words how physically scared I was. He allegedly made several comments on January the 9th to another witness, a friend of the roommates, about needing a 6 to 10 foot deep hole dug. The witness told police that Mr. Martinez was driving a vehicle when he stopped and dragged what appeared to be a woman's body down into a creek. The witness claimed to police that Mr. Martinez asked him to help, but he refused, despite him allegedly threatening him with a gun. After Mr. Martinez left the scene, the witness recorded a video of the body to cover for himself. Okay, police later viewed his footage after the witness came forward to him or to them. Now, along with the severed hand found on Mr. Martinez's person, police also allegedly found blood stains in the interior and exterior of his vehicle. Mr. Martinez reportedly blamed the murder on the witness, saying that he had borrowed his vehicle, which had his gun and phone inside at the time, and went to find the woman who Mr. Martinez claimed he dropped off, saying that the witness had then killed her. But you are the one with the hand, severed hand in your pocket, sir. Police wrote in the affidavit, according to local reports, that Mr. Martinez was being deceitful throughout the interview, struggled to remember locations and times, and was inconsistent. Reports say that Mr. Martinez was employed by former Pueblo County Sheriff Dan Carcentino at his security guard company. Mr. Carcentino told KRDO that before being hired in late December, Mr. Martinez passed all background checks and had no criminal history. Mr. Martinez is being held at the Pueblo County Jail on $1 million bond. Okay, the independent contacted the Pueblo County Police Department, but they got no further comments. So out here chopping off heads, okay? This is what's going down under the Biden administration's watch. Okay? This is all so crazy. Out here chopping off heads. You see, here's the thing. That Venezuelan gang, that prison gang, well, they are supposed to have had torture houses for their victims over in Venezuela. So maybe they brought those same practices over here. You think they haven't? We were worried about the Bloods and Crips, but these people torturing people for hours is what they're used to doing, allegedly. I just find it all very scary. That's what I find. I find it all very scary at the end of the day. Please pay attention. And so anyway, with that all being said, let's continue. Now they say, let's talk about Tim Walz first. Let's talk about Tim Walz. Hold on, is this it? Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Because they say Tim Walz was having a whole affair with this woman, and he's been exposed, the daughter of a communist. Hold on, beloveds. I got to get my receipts together. My bad. Hold on. I have them in separate emails. Okay, here it is. Let's talk about it. Now, this was reported on yesterday. Exclusive. Kamala Harris's VP choice, Tim Walz, had secret fling with the daughter of top Chinese communist official during teaching stint in China. So at her cheating on his wife, well, he must be just like Doug Emhoff, Kamala's husband, who also is a cheater. Okay? Cheated on his first wife with a nanny and got her pregnant and allegedly put hands on her and paused. Okay, this is all alleged. Now, Tim Walz had a secret fling with the daughter of a high-ranking communist official during his 1989 teaching stint in China. Okay, now, Gina Wang claims that the VP hopeful showered her with gifts and seduced her at his pokey staff accommodation at number 1 high school in Foshan, Guangdong province. Okay, the lovers could not risk holding hands or showing affection in public because Wang's dad was a high-ranking figure in the Chinese Communist Party who would disown her for fraternizing with a Westerner. Okay, I find this all interesting. But the romance blossomed behind closed doors as they sipped tea, made love, and listened to George Michael hits, leading the then 24-year-old Wang to dream about marriage and a new life in the United States. No proposal was forthcoming from the future. Hold on. Oh, this was apparently before he was married. Okay, no proposal was forthcoming from the future Minnesota governor. However, and the shame of being treated like a prostitute eventually left Wang feeling angry and suicidal, she claims. Look at Tim Walz right here. This is him when he was younger. I want y'all to pay attention. Claudette said busted. Hold on. Y'all see him right there? That's him right there with a striped shirt on. Okay, or sweater. Look at a whole hot mess. But I digress. And so anyway, it goes on to say, she says, Tim was very passionate and very romantic. I can still remember dancing with him to our favorite song, Careless Whisper. I'm sorry. What? Sorry, this is just so funny to me. Okay. Claudette says, so she spilled the beans. Listen. Miss J says, so Walz is an adulterer and a PDF? Law, this is a mess indeed. Well, I don't know if he's an adulterer because it appears that he may not have been married when this all happened. But it's entertaining nonetheless because not that their favorite song was Careless Whisper. You all remember that by George Michael? But let me continue. The fact that we couldn't touch or kiss in public just made it all the more exciting and intense when we were finally alone. This reads like a Harlequin romance. Please pay attention. She says, we were deeply in love and I wanted to marry him and start a family. When it didn't happen, I felt very unhappy and sad. Tim's behavior was very selfish. Walz's time in China is already a source of controversy after he misleadingly claimed in interviews and congressional transcripts that he was in Hong Kong when the Tiananmen Square protest erupted in April to June of 1989. Once again, caught in lies. This man just lies. Okay, it later transpired that he didn't join the staff of nonprofit World Teach in China until August of 1989, prompting Walz, who's 60, to profess during the recent VP debate that he was a knucklehead. So that's what he was lying about. Do you all remember when Vance, I believe, called him out on a lie and he said that he was a knucklehead? This man's just a liar, and so is Kabami. Now, at the end of the day, I say that because they are always saying that Trump's a liar, but they're liars too. Okay. So it was several months after he arrived in Foshan that Walz is said to have fallen head over heels for Wang, a pretty highly educated English language teacher at the nearby number 8 middle school. Okay, she was attending one of his lectures to brush up on her pronunciation when then 25-year-old Walz slipped her headphones aside and whispered in her ear, "You are very beautiful." Tim was very handsome. I loved his eyes and his big mouth. Okay, I guess beauty's in the eye of the beholder. She says, we talked afterwards, and he was very complimentary about my English. Here he is right here, and he's a whole lot of things, but handsome definitely isn't one. Okay, I'm sorry. Please make it all make sense. Let me just show you all what he looked like up close. All right. This is all crazy. I'm reading y'all's comments. I'm not even going to repeat them because y'all need to sit down somewhere. This is all nefarious. And so anyway, goes on to say that my colleagues couldn't speak whole sentences, but Tim told me that if he closed his eyes and listened, it was like being back in America. Wang clearly running the game. Okay, lame game at that. Now, Wang had a friend on the same teaching staff as Walz, so she was able to gain access to the exclusive school where she could visit him in his one-bed staff digs. Over the weeks that followed, the lovebirds grew closer, walking in the park and going to dances in the evening where there was less chance of being spotted by communist snoops. They avoided overt shows of affection in case it got back to Wang's father, Ben Hugh, who was an important CCP official and chairman of a labor union in her native city of Gulian. Okay, so or Gulen. Now, Walz would travel to Hong Kong and Macau on the weekends, cities that were more or less inaccessible for all but the Chinese elite, and bring back Western-style luxuries like blue jeans, Ray-Ban sunglasses, and jewelry. He couldn't sing, and when he tried to dance, he found it very hard. I could tell he was in the military, she says. But we talked for hours and hours. We stayed in bed. We had sex. He continued to buy me gifts. I could never stay overnight because of social conventions. Now, it was very repressive. Couples walked around the city like robots. My father would have been very, very angry and sad if he had found out. During the summer, Walz returned to the U.S. but wrote letters to Wang, giving vivid depictions of his life and teaching job in Alliance, Nebraska. At Walz's direction, Wang said she sent off a passport photo and information about herself to an address in the United States, believing it was part of the process to secure her visa. When the future running mate of presidential hopeful Kamala Harris flew back to China in 1992, she resigned her coveted teaching role, believing she was about to embark on a new life. Their relationship soon began to sour, however, when Walz made clumsy romantic gestures in public, on one occasion trying to feed Wang a slice of pear as they embarked on a 10-day tour of South China. People were staring at us. I tried to reject it because I was very afraid. Teachers were supposed to set an example. Well, clearly he said none, and let's not forget what the whistleblower has said about him. Now, the couple made sure to book 2 hotel rooms wherever they stayed, but on an overnight train journey, Walz insisted that Wang sleep in his cabin. Now, the conductor shone a flashlight on Wang in the middle of the night and started to admonish her, only to retreat when Walz afforded more respect as a Westerner woke up. And when the pair reached Hainan Island, known for its tropical climate and beach resorts, Wang was ready to comfort him about their future or confront him about their future plans. Walz responded by suggesting that Wang was more interested in a U.S. passport than marriage. This was very offensive. I said to him that it is both or nothing. I wasn't giving up my life and my position to move to Nebraska, a cold place in the middle of nowhere that most Chinese people had never even heard of. I was giving it up to be with Tim, to get married and start a family. Knowing now that he wasn't going to marry me made me feel cheap and common, as if I was being treated like a prostitute. The next morning, Wang slipped out of their hotel and took a taxi to a remote cliff top where she said she contemplated throwing herself off rather than returning to her old life in disgrace. But on the bus back to Foshan, she resolved to leave Walz and instead headed to Gulian to help her mother recover from a recent stomach surgery. The bus stopped, but I didn't get off. He said, "Please come back and let's talk. Let's give this a chance." But I said no. I felt dead inside. I wasn't going to force a person to love me. I never saw Tim again. From 1993 onward, Walz began leading annual summer trips to China for students in Nebraska and Minnesota high schools where he taught. He married Gwen Whipple as a teacher, also a teacher in 1994. Walz never again crossed paths with Wang, who immigrated to Europe several years later where she now works as a teacher, translator, and cultural mediator. She says the pair last exchanged a handful of friendly messages over Facebook in 2009 and talked about how their lives had panned out. The mother of one says she is coming forward now because she feels Walz behaved selfishly towards her and put her reputation and career at risk with his fickle behavior. Now, what I find interesting is that she used the word fickle. And do you all remember that day when Walz was talking and he said fickle about 3 or 4 times? And I said, dang, how many times he's going to say fickle? I find it interesting. She says Tim lied about Tiananmen Square, and he lied about other things. This is very crucial. This is a very crucial moment in history. And a man like this does not appear to have the character and integrity to do one of the most important jobs in the world. A spokesperson for the Harris-Walz campaign did not respond to a request for comments. I think she's just mad and bitter, and that's why she's telling all this now. That's just my opinion, but at the end of the day, it does prove that he's a liar, which we've heard him tell a few lies. I mean, he did have stolen valor about his stint in the military. Okay, Luna said Timmy got his wife at Walmart. Y'all are something. DJ Big Six is laughing because I said fickle. Okay, anyway, so now let's talk about it because they are trying to say that Trump's Madison Square Garden rally was the equivalent of the Nazis back in the day. So let's get into it. Let's get into it because they are just hating and mad. I know they have to be so upset because Kabami had that less than lackluster performance on Club Shay Shay yesterday. Okay, please pay attention. And so with that all being said, likes up everyone, please like and share. Well, here we go. I'm going to share my screen. And now the Puerto Ricans have turned on Trump, supposedly. Okay, here we go. Let's get this response from MSNBC because these people are clearly reaching. They say J.D. Vance's reaction to racist joke makes a bad situation a whole lot worse. This is what MSNBC has to say. So let's go ahead and watch this. This is all nefarious. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
To advertise on TV, and now because of streaming.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean,
Now, I want you all to pay attention to the blonde-haired woman because she's literally just faking. She's just going to sit here and act like she's about to cry over a joke. Now, let me just tell you all this. The man who did the joke, okay, the man who did the joke about the Puerto Rico, hold on, Support the Arts says it was. If you don't see that Trump and his crew are racist, then you're part of the problem. No, I'm not part of the problem. Support the arts. And don't tell me what I am in my own chat or I'll kick you right out. Okay. Now, I told you, you can voice your opinions. You can have your disdain for Trump and at the same time love Kabami. But don't tell me I'm the problem. Okay. Because this is my channel. What I say goes. That's just how it is. Now, with that all being said, Trump doesn't have a damn thing to do with what that man said for a joke. Now, as I was about to tell you guys, the man who they hired to do the comedy there, he has his own show or whatever, his own special or something. And this man is often used to do roast on celebrities. This man always says controversial things. That's what he's known for. So the fact that he said something about Puerto Rico that was clearly a joke, and now the Dems are just trying to use that, or the Dems are just trying to use that to paint Trump as a racist, because that's all they have left. And this is all they have left. You see, they can't say that Kabami outsmarts him because she clearly doesn't. He's playing chess, she's playing checkers. Her interview with Shay Shay was less than lackluster. It was filled with word salad. She gave no good answer. She said the same old stale dry talking points. And she told a whole bunch of lies, as I proved to you yesterday when I dropped the receipts and fact checked her. With that all being said, okay, the only thing that the Dems have left in their arsenal is racism. When all else fails, let's just say Trump's racist. Why is Trump the one who's racist when that man is the one who told the joke? Second thing, support the arts, that you should ask yourself. Okay, Red White Entertainment says support got real bold. Yes, better not get bold again or you'll be up out of here for good. Mind that. Okay, but here's the thing. The next thing is this. At the end of the day, if Kabami thinks that Trump is racist because of a joke someone else told, well, why doesn't she think Biden's a racist after all the stuff that I told you that Biden said? And I hope you looked it up so you can see that the Queen's not lying. Okay, I hope you looked it all up so you can see that the Queen's not lying at the end of the day. Okay, Keith Marcel said, don't hate on the Queen. Exactly. Don't be mad. Support the arts. Listen, beloved, if you're angry because I go in on Kabami, I've told you before, I've asked you before, why do you come here? Because you already know what time it is with me and Kabami. You already know what I'm going to say. You already know how it goes down on this channel. So why are you here? Don't get mad. Okay? Does anyone get mad because you love Kabami? No one really cares. No one really cares, but what you're not going to do is come in here and disrespect me or anyone else because you love Kabami and we don't. Okay, that's just how it goes. Respect our opinions just as you want us to respect yours. It's that simple. We're not going to have this conversation again because the next time if we do, I'm going to get real nasty and I can get real nasty, so please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, here's the bottom line. They can't out-talk Trump on policy and issues. Kabami, as a matter of fact, stole some of Trump's policy and issues. Okay, let us not forget. She spews word salad. She doesn't know how to answer questions without, deflecting and talking about Trump. She's an idiot, a bumbling fool, a clown. Okay, no less. Now that's my assessment of her. All right, but let's listen to this narrative as they paint that Trump is oh so racist, but Biden isn't.
I've got to say, I'm struck by the fact that the October surprise this year thus far has been Donald Trump and the mistakes that the campaign has made. The Madison Square Garden mistake with a guy that trashes Puerto Rico. And nobody can act shocked about it. Donald Trump, Willie, stayed on stage and talked for a couple of hours, I guess, never once said, oh, we don't like that joke. And how dare he bring that up tonight? The reason why is because there were 3 NBC producers that saw him the night before his routine, knowing he was going to be on that night.
Workshop.
And he did the same Puerto Rican joke. I mean, that's part of his act. And he told people, I'm going to say this tomorrow night. And the Trump people knew it.
Yes.
And they had him on, and it took them 3 hours. And the crazy thing is there were fights inside the Trump campaign.
Now, let me say this. What I find interesting is that these 3 people sitting here, they're the racist. These people are racist. Now, if you think Trump's racist and these 3 aren't, you need to quickly think again. These 3 are absolutely racist, okay? I assure you that they, in fact, are. And only reason they're trying to pretend that racism bothers them is because they want to paint Trump as such. Okay, please pay attention. Okay, but not themselves. Support the arts. You don't think these 3 fools are racist? You better think again, honey, okay?
On whether they should correct it or not. And J.D. Vance yesterday doing what only J.D. Vance can do, making a really bad situation a whole lot worse for your campaign, goes, I don't know what the big deal is. So Americans, Puerto Rican Americans, J.D. Vance doesn't know what the big deal is with the joke. And there was a fight on the campaign about them actually apologizing for a joke that Donald Trump refused to apologize for while he was on stage.
Yeah, and J.D. Vance said, Mika, he's sick and tired of people being offended by everything, told people to get over it. And actually, initially said, I haven't heard the joke. Of course, he's heard the joke.
This is a slippery way of dealing with things.
This was a joke early in that rally at Madison Square Garden that has taken hold among Democrats in this campaign. We've heard it amplified by the Harris campaign because they're
It's because that's all they can do is amplify it because they don't have anything else to run on. Kamala's campaign is dead in the water. Everybody that has sense that looks like me is going in on her. That's just a fact. Now, you have a few people who are still sticking by her side no matter what. But at the end of the day, these people who are sticking beside her, like support the arts. Do me a favor. Put one thing in the chat. Just one thing. It should be easy to do. Since you love Kabami so much, you should know everything about her. So since you love Kabami, put one thing in the chat that Kabami has done for people who look like you. Put one thing in the chat that Kabami has done for people who look like you. And I'll wait. Because you got nothing. That's what you got. But Trump's the racist. You are clearly lost in the sauce.
There are so many Puerto Rican Americans across the country, but especially in states like Pennsylvania, that she needs to win.
And if I could finish that sentence, so many Puerto Rican Americans who were deeply, deeply hurt by it. Yeah. And they're still talking about it. We are still talking about it because people were so hurt, so denigrated.
Now, I talked to my very good Puerto Rican friend yesterday, and he told me that he wasn't bothered by it at all. And in fact, most Puerto Ricans aren't. He took it as a joke that it was. And at the end of the day, they're only using the ones that they can use in the media to help the Democrats paint their nefarious narrative because that's all they have left. That's what my Puerto Rican friend said. Do I need to call him on the phone? Because at the end of the day, this is all a load of BS. They're clearly reaching and desperate, and that's all it's given.
And yet, this is how J.D. Vance responded to it.
I haven't seen the joke. Maybe it's a stupid racist joke, as you said. Maybe it's not. I haven't seen it. I'm not going to comment on the specifics of the joke. But I think that we have to stop getting so offended at every little thing in the United States of America. I'm so over it.
If you knew that $5 could help you kick Ted Cruz out of the Senate, wouldn't it be the best $5 that you've ever spent?
And I'm so over it too. You see, the Democrats are the ones trying to use race. They want to sit here and play identity politics. They expect us to vote for Kabami because they told us that Kabami is black. When we didn't fall for it, they got mad. And then they said Obama, no Obama, and Michelle, no Obama, to scold us and to tell us about ourselves. I'm going to show you all something in a minute that should let you know everything you need to know about the Democrats. Please pay attention. Just keep listening because it's all nefarious. I promise you.
Okay, so that's J.D. Vance's way of dealing with what was, I think, very damaging to the campaign, perhaps, Joe?
Well, he's seen the joke. He's not telling the truth.
Well, we know
everybody was sending the joke around, and this is what they do.
Yeah.
They go, oh, I don't know. It's like when he was spreading a lie about his own constituents in Springfield. It was like, oh, wait, I don't know. People are just.
Is it just me or does the guy in the middle look like someone's butthole? And I'm not even trying to be funny. Well, actually, I am, but doesn't he, though? Just look at him. I'm sorry. That's exactly what he looks like to me, literally.
Just saying. This is again, how they spread lies, how they spread insults, how they spread hate, and then they deny it. But, Mike, again, I understand they don't care about Puerto Ricans and how Puerto Ricans feel, how Americans feel of Puerto Rican descent, how people in Springfield feel, even when Republicans governors are saying, please stop, you're making things worse here. A Republican mayors in Aurora, Colorado, please stop lying about Venezuelan gangs. It's just not the case. Here, though, let's just, again.
Wait a damn minute. Did he just say stop lying about Venezuelan gangs? Did he literally just say stop lying about Venezuelan gangs? That it's not the case? Or are they not terrorizing the people in Colorado? Are they not wreaking havoc? What is he talking about? But he wants to call the other people liars. That's what they're doing. They're painting narratives. So the immigrants are not out here murking people. They're not out here abducting people's children and raping them. They're not out here doing any of this. People's heads aren't getting chopped off. I'm sorry, what? I want you all to pay attention.
And I just, it's hard for us to put ourselves in the position of a parent with children who are Americans, who are Puerto Ricans, and having to explain to the children when they go to school why some people may be making fun of them.
You mean the way parents have to explain to their Black children why some people make fun of them and put on blackface and have jokes about them? Is that what you're saying? Because I don't ever hear them talking about that. But these things happen every day. But now all of a sudden, they're so concerned about the Puerto Ricans. Please miss me with it.
Them and calling them garbage. And then understanding it was because Donald Trump's rally and because nobody spoke out strongly against it at the rally. So that's what they're going to school with. And maybe that doesn't matter to J.D. Vance, but I bet it would matter to J.D. Vance if it were his children that were being abused at school.
Right.
You know, it's just another indictment of the way the campaign is being run, not by the people who run the campaign, but the people who symbolize the campaign, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. And on this one, the idea that they have taken something that was on a prompter, that was vetted prior to delivery, that one really scurrilous, obscene slur to describe the vice president of the United States, also running for president, was extracted from the content of the supposed Comedians Act. It's incredible to disbelieve how bad this thing was.
Yeah.
And Mika, you just had, and I indicated you should take a look at it, the front page of the New York Times today, back to Springfield, Ohio, has a story about the parents of Aiden Clark, an 11-year-old child who died in a school bus accident when his school bus was hit by a Haitian immigrant who was here legally. And both Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have decided to call it a murder. And they call this young boy's life and death a murder. And the torture that his parents have endured and been put through since the incident occurred several months ago is horrendous. It has changed and altered and damaged the lives of the living.
This is them sitting with their little boy's blanket, Joe.
And I hold that up, Mika. I can't imagine the pain those parents are going through. And then to watch their son, their child used as a political prop to be lied about, making the pain worse. And keep that up, because this is not personal to me, but this is personal to people I know. When Donald Trump decided to attack me because he didn't like my COVID coverage, and he lied about a woman who worked in my office and claimed that we were involved and that I had her killed. And her husband, the widowed husband, begged him to stop lying because of the excruciating pain that it put her parents through and put him through. The fact that he had not been able to move on for 20 years, 25 years, because the lies that they could not find rest or peace. And Donald Trump didn't care. He just kept doing it because he didn't care.
Right.
What the family thought. He didn't care what the husband thought. He didn't care what the people whose grief he was only making worse. These men. While I was in Congress, if it happened while Claire was in the Senate, and somebody did this, O'Neill and Ron, democracy.
They're inflicting pain on people purposely. And Willie, you saw J.D. Vance and the very slippery, dishonest, callous response to the way Puerto Rican Americans are feeling about that joke that hurt them so deeply. The Harris campaign had a bit of a different take on it.
Yeah, I mean, that very day, Vice President Harris announced a plan to help Puerto Rico, talked about how the federal government was going to invest in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
She won the endorsement of Bad Bunny, arguably the most famous.
Of course she did. Of course she did. What else is she going to do? Okay, her campaign's dead in the water. She has to grasp at straws. DJ Big Six said these people are paid actors. They're clearly acting. I don't know if they're paid, but they're clearly acting, honey. This is all hilarious for me. But just keep listening because I have some more interesting things to show you. And I want you all to pay attention because the Democrats, y'all need to really be paying attention to the little sleight of hand tricks that they use because I think that some people are just not getting it, not catching on. But I'm going to make the point clear in just a minute. I'm going to drive it on home. But before we get to that, let's get to this. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. This is all nefarious. Hold on, beloved. Hold on, beloveds. This is all so crazy. Let's see what the Puerto Ricans have to say. Here we go.
There's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
A controversial joke during a Trump rally at New York's Madison Square Garden. Now, many Latinos in Central Florida are condemning the comments and say it could be changing the way people vote. And as the election gets closer, what could this mean for the former president? News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez explains.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Comedian Tony Hinchcliffe took Puerto Ricans by surprise with his words about the island of enchantment.
A lot of people are going to change their vote.
Kissimmee Trump supporter Robert Figueroa tells me he's rallied many Boricuas behind the former president, but now he's considering not casting a ballot at all.
I was going to vote for Donald Trump. And when this guy came out in New York, he started talking about Puerto Ricans, that we were garbage.
He actually didn't say they were garbage. He said that Puerto Rico was garbage. But nonetheless, the joke, as I told you all yesterday, was tasteless, and I didn't find it funny. But at the end of the day, that's not Trump's fault, okay? And this man, like I said, he's known for saying controversial things. At the end of the day, my thing is comedians usually don't have a filter. They'll say whatever, okay? And so they're just taking this, just using this little talking point, in my opinion, to just stir up, divide, so that they can get votes for Kabami. That's what it is.
He says he wants to hear from the former president. If you had the opportunity to speak directly to Mr. Trump, what would you say?
I would tell Donald Trump, don't put people talking about bad Puerto Ricans about us. And then you're not going to win because we'll make you win.
Trump's team called it a joke, but community leaders are taking it very serious.
¿Cómo se siente ser puertorriqueño y escuchar esos comentarios?
Mira, fue como una bofetada.
Jorge Figueroa is the president of the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce, representing hundreds of businesses in Central Florida.
Something that do not belong in politics. It was definitely not a joke. And all of those who thought it was funny, they it shows their true face, and is nothing less than pure racism.
Hold on, someone asked could they post the Queen's email. My email is on the screen, beloved. It's going past right there, my Cash App and my email, okay? QueenAhmadiyyah.Shakur at gmail.com, beloved. There it is right there, Lexington, okay?
He and others held a press conference to condemn the comment and push Latinos to the polls.
You don't have to be Puerto Rican to see what happened here. There's no excuses for what we saw.
In Kissimmee, Stephanie Rodriguez, Getting Results, News 6.
Only 12%.
Now, someone in the chat says that the guy told watermelon jokes. I didn't watch that. So he told watermelon jokes. Well, I find that interesting because if he told watermelon jokes, I clearly don't think that's funny. But if he did tell watermelon jokes, why are they only talking about Puerto Rico? I'm sorry. Why isn't Kabami saying anything about the watermelon jokes? She's worried about what he said about Puerto Ricans, but not about black people, and she's black, supposedly. Yeah, okay. I find that interesting. I'll have to go back and watch the entire thing because I didn't know that he told watermelon jokes, but if he did, Sharon says, yes, he did. Okay, so if he told watermelon jokes, how come they're not fussing about that? How come they're not complaining about that? Watermelon jokes definitely aren't funny. Okay, with that all being said, that's also in poor taste. So I have questions. I have questions. Why are the Democrats in Kabami complaining about what he said about Puerto Rico, but not about what he said about black folk? And isn't Kabami black? Isn't that what they said? Support the arts. I have questions. What say you? Okay, please make it all make sense. But let's continue because here's Kabami talking about it. Let's see if she says anything about the watermelon jokes. Okay, because I have several questions. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on just a second. Let me make sure I have these in order so I don't pull up the wrong video. No, it doesn't matter. I'll just pull them up one by one. We'll go through them all anyway. Okay, here we go. Carnival of Racism. Trump's disturbing Madison Square Garden rally faces intense backlash. Okay, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Here they go. Or here.
And with time growing short to make their closing arguments, only one candidate has opted for the in-your-face, brazenly divisive, audaciously offensive pitch to his fellow Americans, a kind of coming attractions of what a second Trump president would usher in and unleash on our fellow Americans. It came to a head last night at a rally at Madison Square Garden that the New York Times describes this way as, quote, a closing carnival of grievances, misogyny, and racism, a release of rage, end quote. And this, quote, a vivid and at times racist display of the dark energy animating the MAGA movement. And they got right to it. The racism started right out of the gate, no warm up. With one of the opening acts, this comedian named Tony Hinchcliffe, or Cliffy. Normally, we would never platform this kind of racist rhetoric, but there are 8 days to go, and this is who Trump picked to speak to the country with 8 days to go. So we think it's important that you know who Trump picked and what he said.
There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there.
How bad do you have to be to offend a crowd?
Now, let me say this. I'm going to tell you what's going on here. If he said jokes about watermelon, the only reason they're specifying the jokes that he said about Puerto Ricans is because Kabami wants the Puerto Ricans' votes, because she already realizes that many black people aren't voting for her. That's what that is. So she's pandering to the Puerto Ricans, for one. And for two, at the end of the day, that just goes to further prove that she doesn't give a damn about black people. How can she sit here and make a fuss about what he said about Puerto Ricans, but not about what he said about black people? I want y'all to pay attention. Okay, she's clearly pandering to her base, so who she hopes will be her base. That's what she's doing. Support the arts. You're black. If they made jokes about watermelon, how come Kabami's not defending you? How come Kabami's not defending you? If Donald Trump's racist and he let them make jokes about watermelon, you should ask yourself, how come Kabami hasn't said a damn thing about it? But she's going hard in the paint for these Puerto Ricans, and she's talking about what she's going to do for them. She hadn't said what she's going to do for you. She tried to fool black men like she was doing something for them, but it turns out it's for everybody. So what do you have to say about that? Support the arts. Okay, saying Trump don't care about Puerto Ricans. Well, at the end of the day, why do you care what he cares about Puerto Ricans? You're not Puerto Rican. And at the end of the day, I want you to answer the question. First of all, what I want you to do, I've asked you 30 minutes ago, I want you to put one thing in the chat that Kabami did for black people. That's easy. That should be so easy for you to do. One little thing. Put it in the chat. I'm still waiting. And while you're doing that, please tell me what you think about your master, Kabami, okay, your president-to-be, Kabami, not defending black people if, in fact, that comedian told jokes about watermelon. I want to hear what you have to say about that. Let's not gaslight and deflect. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm about to share my screen so we can hear what the hell Kabami had to say.
Donald Trump's event in I think last night Donald Trump's event in Madison Square Garden really highlighted a point that I've been making throughout this campaign. He is focused and actually fixated on his grievances, on himself, and on dividing our country. And it is not in any way something that will strengthen the American family, the American worker. It is nothing about what he is saying that is actually going to support the aspirations, the dreams, and the ambitions of the American people. It is absolutely something that is intended to and is fanning the fuel of trying to divide our country. And as I've said many times, I'll say tomorrow night in my speech, there's a big difference between he and I. If he were elected on day one, he's going to be sitting in the Oval Office working on his enemies list. On day one, if I'm elected President of the United States, which I fully intend to be, I will be working on behalf of the American people on my to-do list.
If she is elected, she's not going to do ish on her first date. And you want to know why? Because I want you all to pay attention. First of all and foremost, Kabami has bragged about Dick Cheney endorsing her. Now, anybody who knows politics and knows about Dick Cheney, he's a whole warmonger, okay? And if you know what I know, then you also know that Kabami's not going to be doing a damn thing. Dick Cheney is going to be running the show. Now, when she was asked the other day by journalists if his daughter Liz Cheney was going to be given a seat in the cabinet, Kabami said, I'll keep you posted, which she likely is going to give her a seat in the cabinet. Okay? Please pay attention. At the end of the day, she's going to be a good puppet, says Queen Nina Starr. Exactly. That's the only reason they chose her to go after Biden. That's the only reason they picked her. Okay, because they know she's going to be a puppet and do whatever she's told to do. She's not going to do anything. She's sitting up here telling all these lies. And I don't know when some people are going to wake up to the fact of it. All right. Now, let's see what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had to say about the Puerto Rican jokes.
Trump campaign is playing cleanup, trying to distance the campaign and the candidate from comments made from the stage at his big rally yesterday here in New York. Comedian Tony Hinchcliffe was among the warm-up acts to speak, and here's what he said.
I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. These Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage.
Support the art. Stop being obtuse. I didn't tell you you should support Trump. I said, so that means I should support Trump? Hell no. I didn't tell you who to support, okay? You can support whomever you want. That's not my job to tell anyone who to support, okay? I've said that a myriad of times. Stop acting ignorant and trying to paint narratives. I never told you or anyone else who to vote for, okay? That's one thing I don't do. I give my commentary and voice my opinion and show the facts as they're presented. That's what I do. Stop acting like an ass and sitting here saying that I told you to support Trump, because I never did. Okay, now you're going to piss me off. And if you piss me off, that's not going to be good for you. But let me continue.
In the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Joining us right now, Democratic Congresswoman from New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Thanks for being here. You called this out last night. You were hanging out with Tim Walz. You guys were streaming. You called it out last night. Fresh eyes on it this morning when you see that remark and you see now that comedian responding to you guys. I'll read a bit of it for you. I know you've seen it, but for everyone out there, these people have no sense of humor. While that a vice presidential candidate would take time out of his busy schedule to analyze a joke taken out of context to make it seem racist. I love Puerto Rico and vacation there. I made fun of everyone, watch the whole set. I'm a comedian, Tim. Might be time to change your tampon, is what he ends it with. What does it mean today? What does it do today?
You know, this honestly isn't really about a comedian. This is about the Trump campaign. Those comments and that individual saying those things on that stage, inciting an entire arena of individuals who have been previously incited to commit attacks like the ones we saw on January 6th by people like Donald Trump. None of that was an accident. These campaign events are put together. They are vetted. That language was vetted by the Trump campaign. That person was approved by the Trump campaign because he is speaking on behalf of the Trump campaign. And I think it's really important that people understand that when we see everything that's happening, what is being transmitted and said about Latinos in the United States is exactly what the Trump campaign means.
Okay, I've heard enough. And here's the thing. Support the arts says there's only two choices. No, there isn't. Stop being ridiculous. You know there's more choices. Sit down somewhere. Dr. Jill Stein is on the ballot. You have several choices, okay? Please pay attention. All right. Now, with that all being said, and as I said, I don't care who you vote for. It's none of my business. Why would I concern myself with who Support the Arts votes for anyone else, for that matter? Now, I want you all to pay attention because OAC or AOC, okay, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, okay, she's sitting there trying to make the argument about Latinos. Now, here's the thing, support the arts. At the end of the day, why are you so worried about what was said about Puerto Ricans? There is no Black and Brown alliance. The Puerto Ricans don't give a damn when things happen to Black people or things are said about Black people. So please stop the cap. That's all I'm saying. Please stop the cap, okay? Because that's what you're doing. It's all cap. Pay attention. All right, that's what it is. Now, with that all being said, I find it all nefarious. I find it all nefarious. Now, let's see what Sky Australia has to say.
And mushrooms in a can. You ever tried? Oh, shoot! Let me. It's nice, right? Yeah. So that's
that you like, as long as it grants her credibility.
Okay, so they have these dolls. These dolls that are Kamala dolls that have different voices, just like Kamala does in real life.
Lefties losing it, and I regret to inform you that Robert De Niro has gone fully demented. Again, you'll remember his various anti-Trump rants, deranged, bile-filled attacks that show that De Niro is suffering from an advanced case of Trump derangement syndrome.
It makes me so angry. We're here talking about a piece of like Donald Trump.
Ah, what a charming man. Not at all bitter or insane, is he? You know what? He's like the male Whoopi Goldberg. And talking about Whoopi, here she is claiming that Donald Trump will deport the coloured wives of white men. He'll break up interracial marriages and will then marry off the white men to new wives.
Talking about you, it's us. He's not going to, say, oh, you're with a white guy. I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
What can you say about these people? They really should have never closed those asylums. And while we're on The View, let's have a look at this meltdown from Sunny Hostin, who blames Donald Trump personally for a joke told by comedian Tony Hinchcliffe at Madison Square Garden.
This Puerto Rican has something to say about the island that I love, where my family is from. Puerto Rico is trash. We are Americans, Donald Trump.
Why are you telling Donald Trump? It was a comedian who made the joke.
Now, I want you all to pay attention to how these demons and devils paint narratives. They're acting like Trump said it out of his own mouth. It was the comedian that said it, addressed to him, Tony Hinchcliffe. Why don't they make their comments directed towards him? Well, because they're trying to make Trump look as bad as possible, okay, using the racism card so that people will vote for Kagame. That's what that is. And for people like Support the Arts, listen, you're going to be in for such a rude awakening if and when Kagame does get into office. You're going to see how much of a damn she doesn't give about people who look like you. I'm still waiting for your silly self to put in the chat what the hell she's done for for Black people. I see you put nothing. And you know why you put nothing support the arts? Because she hasn't done a damn thing. That's just the truth of the matter. Now, when you asked me weeks ago what Trump did for Black people, I gave you a list of things off the top of my head. I didn't have to Google it. I just started spewing things that were all facts. You could have fact checked them yourself. But when I ask you for one little thing that Kabami's done for Black people who look like you, who are caping so hard and being so ignorant, you can't put one thing in the chat. And I'm not surprised because she hasn't done a damn thing. That's what she hasn't done.
This joke.
Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter, the search engine for conservatives. Let me just tell you what it does. First of all, big tech right now is run.
Yep, it was Tony's joke. He's a comedian. He got a mixed response from the crowd for that joke. Do we expect folks to change their vote because of a joke about Puerto Rico? Well, Sunny Hostin expects it, and in this rather hysterical diatribe,
I care about the country as a whole than just one group of people. Trump will be worse for Black people and all people. Listen, beloved, that little scary talking point you just tried to give as a deflection doesn't scare us because Trump's already been the president. That's what you don't seem to realize. Trump has already been the president. What was worse for Black people? Tell me one thing that was worse for Black people. I'm waiting. Tell me one thing that was worse for Black people when Trump was the president last time. Okay. And while you're at it, I'm still waiting for you to put in there what the hell Kabami did. Looks like I'll be waiting till tomorrow. Okay. Because nothing's coming up.
tribe, she again seems to mislead her dim audience, giving them the impression that it was Donald Trump who told that joke.
We vote Donald Trump trash. And by the way, Jennifer Lopez, Ricky Martin, Bad Bunny, Luis Fonsi, and Mark Anthony have over 345 million followers on Instagram. I think you only have 26 million since you care so much about size. And we don't like what was said about Puerto Rico. And we know how to take the trash out, Donald Trump. Trash that has been collecting since 2016. And that's you, Donald Trump.
Oh, tone down the hyperbole, love. You're going to hurt yourself. Now, for the record, most Latinos that I know of are not the celebs she mentions. Most Latinos have a pretty good sense of humor. They're not easily offended. They're not snowflakes. And they probably know that Puerto Rico has a significant trash problem, has had for many years. And
okay, so why are they mad?
I don't recall the Democrats, including the likes of The View's Sunny Hostin, had.
Now, see, this is what I find interesting. They literally do have a lot of garbage there. And the man didn't call them garbage. He just said that Puerto Rico was garbage. Okay? And that's a joke because of all the trash there. Now, like I said, the joke was tasteless, okay, at the end of the day. But to me, they're making mountains out of molehills, quite frankly, and grasping at straws. But let's continue.
Having a tantrum over this joke told recently at a Kamala rally, suggesting that Mexicans are thieving miscreants.
Donald Trump said he was going to build a wall, and George Lopez said, you better build it in one day, because if you leave that material out there overnight.
I don't remember Kamala having to disavow that joke or the media having a.
Now, please pay attention, because they didn't give a damn when George Lopez told a joke about them, okay? I'm sorry, what? They didn't care when George Lopez. See, this is selective outrage. This is just them painting a narrative. This is them just trying to have something to say negative about Trump's historic Madison Square Garden rally that sold out, by the way. Kabami could never. And the only way that she ever could was only if she called in someone like Beyonce and paid her $10 million to act like she's going to perform, okay? But speaking of that, we're going to get into that in a minute. Okay, Swift said George Lopez ain't funny. No, he isn't. He was funny on the George Lopez show back in the day, but his stand-up sucks as far as I'm concerned.
mass meltdown about it. And of course, Don Lemon was joining in the insanity. Listen to this nonsense.
You want to see the October surprise that just might kill Donald Trump's chances of becoming president? This one stupid racist joke. And they released a statement almost immediately trying to distance Donald Trump from the comedian. And
now here's what I want you to pay attention to. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. Now they're criticizing the Trump campaign because they're saying they released a statement trying to distance Trump from the comedian. Okay, well, I'm sorry, but didn't they say that Trump needed to address it, that he needed to denounce it? So now when they try to distance him from it, as they said that he should, now they're complaining about that. Do you see what this is going on here? Okay, thank you. Sierra said, aren't they supposed to distance him? Distance him? Of course. This is literally what they themselves said, that he should distance himself from it. He needs to denounce it. And so now when he does, they're still complaining. This is how you should know they're painting narratives out of desperation. But let me fast forward because I want to go to these dolls of Kabami that they have. Hold on, let's hear what Tim Walz has to say.
Tim Walz, who just a few days ago called the world's richest man the genius sending rockets into space and using his considerable wealth to help save free speech. Wasn't it Tim Walz who called Elon Musk a dipshit?
Elon's on that stage, jumping around, skipping like a dipshit on these things. You know it.
And remember when the man who put tampons in boys' bathrooms in schools across Minnesota called Republicans weird and creepy?
You know it. You feel it. These guys are creepy and, yes, just weird as hell.
Look at the look on Kabami's face, looking like the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. Please pay attention.
That's what you see.
And here is Tim Walz pushing the dangerous lie that Trump's sellout rally at Madison Square Garden was some Nazi-inspired event.
Donald Trump has descended into madness over the last few weeks. And I think some of you don't miss on this. Go do your Google on this. Donald Trump's got this big rally going at Madison Square Garden. There's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden. And don't think that he doesn't know for 1 second exactly what they're doing there.
That's the weirdo accusing his opponents of using reckless language, really. Now it's time to check in with the woman herself, Kamala Harris. Here she is with a bunch of celebs, including John Legend, chanting, "We are not going back."
Now, I want you to pay attention because here's the thing. I've told you guys that all of these celebrities speaking up for Kabami were at Diddy's freak-offs. Every last one. And you all already know about Chrissy Teigen. You all already know about Chrissy Teigen, John Legend's wife. I showed you those emails about what she was saying about children. Please pay attention, okay? This is who Kabami's hanging out with. This is worse than a joke. Now, I find it all interesting that they're going in on Trump about this man's joke, but they don't have a problem with the fact that John Legend is speaking up for Kabami when his wife said those nefarious things about children. Okay, she had to delete 20,000 emails or more. Okay, remember that? And I showed you to them because I happened to have screenshot them before she could delete them. And the things that she was saying were despicable. They were sick. Okay, they reek of someone who is a PDF file. But that's her husband that she's got up there. Okay, I find it all interesting, but I digress.
We're not going back. We're not going back.
Did you spot actor Mark Ruffalo there? How is he getting FaceTime with the Veep?
Hold on, let me see if I... Now, this is what they compare Trump to.
Affair, but
watch this.
Let's hear how MSNBC covered it. This is insane.
How much is school broken?
If we're going to talk about little boys, then
that place is particularly chilling because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally, a rally where speakers voiced anti-Semitic rhetoric from a stage draped with Nazi banners. When a Jewish protester rushed the stage, the Associated Press reported, quote, instantly, a dozen or more stormtroopers set upon him, knocking him down and beating him as he held his head in his arms. Most of his clothing was torn from his body.
Well, I would imagine when he rushed the stage that they were fearful and didn't know what he was there for. That's how I see it. But I find it interesting that they're using this and trying to compare this to Trump. Do you all see what they're doing here? They're using racism all of a sudden, the same people who don't give a damn about it. Please pay attention. When has MSNBC ever cared about racism? When have they ever stuck up for George Floyd? When have they ever spoken favorably about Breonna Taylor or Ahmaud Arbery? When have they ever given a darn about a black person who lost their life unjustly at the hands of the police? When has MSNBC ever done that? But now we're supposed to think that they have such moral fortitude that they're so upset because a man told a joke. He dared to tell a joke about Puerto Ricans. But when black people get killed at the hands of police, they don't say anything. Yeah, they can miss me with it. That's what they can do. Okay, they can absolutely miss me with it. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there because I think we've heard enough. I did want to see those dolls. I wanted to show you all those dolls. Hold on. I don't remember the timestamp, but they have these Kabami dolls that have all these different languages. Hold on just a second, beloveds. Here they go right here. Okay, I think this is the clip or the timestamp that I'm looking for. So let's go back to this because I wanted you all to see how they were talking about these Kabami dolls, and I find it all so nefarious.
Information machine. Interesting company that she keeps, but don't expect the media to ask about that. The media won't even ask her about her many accents, but the content creators keep coming up with gems like this.
It's accent swish Kamala. Right.
Oh, hello, young lady. Quite a marvelous day, isn't it?
Why does she talk so weird? Let me play with her.
Well, hey there, little nugget. I'm going to be the first black female president of the United States of America.
Man, this doll sucks.
Accent Switch Kamala can emulate any accent you like, as long as it grants her credibility.
A bonjour, you having a croissant?
Yes, Accent Switch Kamala can even do a German accent and comes with a bunch of useful accessories.
Guten Tag, Sie lieben ein Bratwurst, ufta, ufta, ufta.
Accent swish Kamala. Right.
But wait, there's more. All new Accent Switch Kamala comes with 2 bags of campaign money, a blind eye for illegal immigration, and her own multi-laugh 3000 generator. Laugh in every way possible. It's Accent Switch Kamala and brand new Tampon Tim.
Let's have a look at how MSNBC covered the huge Trump rally at Madison Square Garden, which featured everyone from Melania to Hulk Hogan to Dr. Phil and Tucker Carlson, and also Trump's dream team. Those are the people expected to be part of his administration, the likes of...
Okay, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and all of them. Now, with that all being said, this is what I want you guys to pay attention to, because this is what's important. You see, I've already told you that when Kabami is out here talking about reproductive health, and she's always directing that towards black women, she's talking about genocide. She's talking about depopulation of our people when she's promoting abortion to us. Why is it specific to us? I have a whole lot of questions. And what does abortion, again, have to do with reproductive health? Okay, reproductive health is when you give birth. It's when you reproduce. So how does abortion, which is when you kill the baby before it's born, what does that have to do with that? Okay, but hold on, because here's where it gets real interesting. Now, I don't know if you all noticed this or not, but let me just pull this up real quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. This is all so nefarious at the end of the day. Did you all happen to notice this? Hold on. Let me just share my screen. Did you all happen to notice any of this? Now look at Kelly Rowland. I want you all to pay attention. You all didn't catch this. Most people probably didn't. You see Kelly Rowland here, dressed up like Beetlejuice in this oversized man suit. Did you all notice this, that she's wearing this oversized man suit, and that when her and Beyonce walked out on the stage, they were holding hands? Did you all notice that? Please tell me you did. Please tell me you noticed it. That Kelly Rowland was dressed like a man and she walked out holding Beyonce's hand. Y'all didn't notice that, did you? Okay, you probably noticed that ugly oversized suit, where she was looking like Beetlejuice, mind you. Okay? Looking like Beetlejuice. But you didn't notice how her and Beyonce were holding hands, because I did. And I'm like, why the hell are they holding hands? What's going on here? But I tell you what, you also probably didn't notice. Look at Quavo. When Quavo came to speak for Kabami, did y'all notice how Quavo was dressed? Why is he looking all zesty all of a sudden? I'm sorry. Please make this make sense. Look at him. What's going on here, Quavo? What's this? What's this he's wearing? Lace? Is this lace? This looks like an outfit that I have. Now, I'm sorry. I want you all to pay attention. You see, this is what you need to be paying attention to. When I talk about depopulation, let us not forget that Harry Kissinger had this agenda back in 1974, 200 pages, I do believe it was, and I've shown it to you all before, where he was talking about depopulating the Black people. And one way to do so was to stop us from reproducing by spreading, okay, homosexuality in our community. That's what he said. Now, look at how they emasculate, okay? They make the woman masculine and emasculate the Black man. This is the Democrats here. This is the Democrats here. Why is Quavo dressed like a girl and Kelly Rowland dressed like a dude and walked out on the stage holding holding Beyonce's hand? Okay? Did y'all notice this? Did y'all catch it? I find it all very interesting. Okay, I find it all very interesting. See, this is what they're promoting, the Democrats. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with being LGBTQ if that's what you are. But why are they trying to force it down people's throats and trying to make people who are not LGBTQ become LGBTQ? I want you all to pay attention. Narratives are being painted here. Kim Richardson, that was done on purpose, Queen. Well, of course it was. He's out there dressed in lace. Okay, he's out there wearing my whole outfits. Look at him. This is what they're doing. Y'all don't find this all strange and suspicious? Sandra said it's reverse psychology. Exactly. Okay, why is he wearing what she should be wearing and she's wearing what he should be wearing? Please make it all make sense. Okay, I just have several questions is all I'm saying. But if you didn't see that, get a load of this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
Houston, we are grabbing back the pen. Get out there right now and get these people on my side, or else you're fired.
Okay, that's who Kelly was supposed to be. Okay, that's who Kelly was supposed to be. Get out there right now and get these people on my side. What was all this flapping of her arms? What was all that? She looked like she was about to fly away into oblivion, no less. Kelly, what's going on, beloved? I have several questions. And by the way, support the arts. I'm still waiting for you to drop in the chat one little old thing. How hard could it be, beloved, to tell us what Kabami has done? What is it? I'm sorry. There's nothing that you can think of that Kabami's done for Black people, but you're talking about Trump is the girl. You know why you can't find nothing Kabami did for Black people? Because she didn't do anything for Black people, nor will she ever. She clearly said, now I'm not going to do anything specifically for Black people. Now, let's speak very clear. That's what she said. That's why you can't put one thing in the damn chat. Okay, please sit down somewhere. Okay, please sit down somewhere. Okay, Susan Butler said it's supposed to be funny. Yeah, I guess it was. Okay, making a fool of herself up there dressed like a whole stud. All right, and come out there holding Beyonce's hand. Okay. At the end of the day, honey, it's all crazy. It's all I'm saying. I find it all very interesting. So anyway, but hold on, listen to this. This is what I want y'all to pay attention to. Hold on. This is what I want you all to pay attention to. Now, I want you all to listen to this. I'm going to play a clip from Club Shay Shay's interview with Kabami that I forgot to play for you guys on yesterday. I don't think I played this, but I want you to listen because here's what Kabami says. Kabami seems to think that the only reason Black people are voting for Trump is because of stimulus checks. She doesn't realize how insulting she actually is with her stereotypical BS. This woman is a whole clown. Okay, hence the picture. Please pay attention. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. I want you all to pay attention. Now, I find it all so interesting. Hold on, beloveds. I want you all to pay attention. Hold on. I forgot to share the screen. Sorry, you all said no sound. Sorry, I forgot to share the screen. Hold on. Let me put it back up. Hold on. Here we go. Now listen to this, okay? Because Kabami needs to
Trust
sit down.
President Trump, former President Trump, more on the economy. What can you tell the voters, our viewing audience, our listening audience, that if you were to become president, while Madam VP Kamala Harris will be much better on the economy than what President Trump was?
Well, so I'm really glad you brought that up, Shannon. So first of all, let's clear up certain myths.
Okay.
You know those checks that went out?
Yes, those skimmies.
Right. Right.
Stimulus check.
Yeah, I know. Well, right. Yes. Yes.
We got to be for stimulus, but they call them stimmies. Okay.
The reason those came about is because there was a Democratic majority in the House of Representatives and Congress.
Mm-hmm.
People like Maxine Waters, people like Hakeem Jeffries, right?
Yes.
Who did the work of pushing to say, people need help right now and we need to send out checks. There was a whole lot of opposition to it, including from Donald Trump's White House.
Yes, even him. I think he was resistant to it at first.
Yes. That's why those checks, remember, Congress holds the purse.
Yes.
So really, Congress wrote those checks. But then Donald Trump, unlike any president before or after, decided he put his name on those checks.
Thank you.
Okay, so you all heard that. She said that Trump put his name on the check. So what? And then she says that Congress holds the purse strings. Well, here's the thing. Whether if Congress held the purse strings or not, and as far as her saying that Trump was resistant to it, we don't know that. That's just what she says, okay? And how does Shannon know it? Is he in the White House? Is he in Congress? How did he even get that information other than Kabami saying it to him? With that all being said, all we know is we got the checks. And here's the thing. If she's stupid enough to think that the only reason Black people are voting for Trump is because he gave people checks, what does that tell you about her? So she thinks Black people are that hard up for checks that we're just going to vote for Trump just because he gave us checks. That's what she thinks. I want you all to pay attention to how she just insulted you. For those of you who are voting for Trump, I want you to pay attention to how she just insulted you, because that's what she literally just did. Okay, that's what she literally just did. She insulted you by saying that you're only voting for Trump because he gave you checks. And then she's telling you that he didn't even really want to give you the checks, that Congress gave you the checks. So if anything, you should be thanking Congress, not him. That's what she's saying. Now, this just goes to show a clear dose of desperation. Okay, that's all this is. A clear and present dose of desperation. Just nothing else to run on. This is all she has here. So please pay attention. And here's the thing. If in fact Congress holds the purse strings and they gave us those checks, why hasn't she gotten them to give us checks? Why hasn't she gotten them to give us checks? She said herself that she knows groceries are too high. She said herself that people can't afford daycare. She said herself that people need money for car seats. She said it multiple times. So, Kabami, what say you? Why didn't you and Biden lower the grocery prices? Or why didn't y'all send out checks, get Congress to do it? I'm sorry. All she's doing is trying to talk trash about everything that Trump did that she didn't. That's what she's doing. She wants to talk trash about Trump's immigration policies and act as though he didn't sign the bill or he didn't want to go along with something when she's the one who never went to the border, when her and Biden are the ones who allowed all of these people to come here illegally, when they're the ones who gave them all of these thousands of dollars in cash, who gave them all of these thousands of dollars in food stamps. They're the ones who did this. They can't blame that on Trump no matter how hard they try. At the end of the day, I don't give a damn about racism. Racism will always exist. I don't give a damn about who's racist and who isn't. At the end of the day, what I care about is what is going to be in my best interest. Okay, so using this whole racism thing, that gets us nowhere as far as I'm concerned, because if we're going to talk about racism, let's start with Biden. If we're going to talk about people being racist, let's start with him. Okay, if she didn't complain about Biden being racist, and mind you, she said Biden was racist. Y'all remember that, right? She worked for somebody that she called racist. She literally said in the debate in 2019 that Biden was a segregationist. Aren't they racist? Aren't they racist? So here's the thing. Support the arts, feel free to answer. If she's so concerned about a racist man being in office, why in the hell did she agree to be the VP of one? Why in the hell did she agree to be the VP of one? She said he was a segregationist, which means he's AKA a racist. He was also on that float with Strom Thurmond, who's clearly a racist. So she didn't have a problem with working for Biden, but she has a problem with Trump. Okay, please pay attention to the narratives being painted here. As I told you before, even if Trump is racist, so have all the other presidents been. I'm sorry, duh. Didn't George Bush say shoot the looters? What is she talking about? Didn't Biden say all the things that I told you that he said? I told you to look it up. So here's the thing. Do not be fooled by the psychological bull. Okay, they're trying to paint narratives, and if you're not smart and fast on your feet and you're not exercising critical thinking skills, you'll fall for the load of BS. Okay, because that's all it is. I have no problem with Kabami being upset about racism, but Kabami is the same woman who said that this America is not a racist country. Then she said, but we do need to be aware of its systemic racism. Its history of systemic racism. If it in fact has a history of systemic racism, how is it not racist? And if Trump is racist, how come Biden isn't when you yourself, Kabami, called him a segregationist? And then you worked for him for 4 whole years, and then you're still sticking by him. Okay? You're still sticking by him at the end of the day. So what's she even talking about? How does it even make sense? Isn't it a walking contradiction? Isn't it hypocrisy at its finest? Please pay attention, okay? With that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. With that all being said, just a few more days left until you vote. Okay, I didn't get a chance to see if I could get Dr. Jill Stein on here yesterday. I'm going to try to work on that today. But in the meantime, in between time, for those of you who follow the spiritual channel, I will be live on there. It's 12:30 now. I'll be live on there at 2 o'clock. And we're going to talk more about the lesser, letter of Solomon. The lesser key of Solomon, okay, that I talked about when I reported on Diddy. We're going to talk more about that, okay? And with that all being said, I love you all to life, okay? I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm